You've done some recent polling as well, haven't you, Matt Goodwin? Tell me your thoughts on the current goings-on.
Yeah, we actually did some polling with GB News this week on the state of the race. And the first thing to say is, Labour's got this commanding 27-point lead, which is basically twice what Labour needs for a majority on July the 4th. Who would make the best Prime Minister? Well, Keir Starmer ahead of Rishi Sunak. But the real story here is actually a larger number of voters, almost half the country, is basically saying none of them. Neither of the leaders of the two big parties are really capturing my imagination. And also on issues, the three issues that will decide this election: the economy, cost of living, the NHS and immigration. And on all three of those, voters tend to back Labour over the Conservatives. But again, a larger number of voters are saying, I don't really know who to back. I'm not convinced anybody's got the answers to Britain's problems. So I'm thinking this election, Michelle, may come to be remembered as the none of the above election.
See, I think I'm in that category as well. I have spoken about this often. I'm not a regular voter. I must confess, viewers of my programme know this already, Nina. I've never really voted as an adult in general elections, apart from, intake of breath. I have ran in two of them, though, to be fair to me, so I've voted for myself. I'll give you that. But this time I've made a commitment to myself. I am going to engage, I am going to vote, but I don't actually know who to vote for.
Well, the thing is, you have to weigh up the odds and see who's going to make the best fist of it, because the country is in a complete shambles. It's been destroyed. As far as I'm concerned, the Tories have raped this country over the last 14 years. Nothing works. Our rivers are polluted, the NHS is crumbling, our courts are clogged, our prisons are full. Nobody feels better off.
And you blame the Tories for all of that?
I absolutely do, because they have been in charge. They are the ones who have run the country. And this is where capitalism, red in tooth and claw, has gone wrong. It really has, because they've put profits before people is really what's happened. But the thing is, I've always voted. I've always thought that it's the most important thing you can do in life, because it's no point whinging about the government or this, I don't like this tax, I don't like that, and this is awful, unless you've had your say. People have got to make their voices heard. And you think, well, what's the point? One voice. But if everybody thought like that, there'd be nothing. So we need to. I think that it should be compulsory.
Well, I would just briefly, if I can, come back on that one point. Yes, the Conservatives have got a lot of things wrong. Agree with you. But what makes me concerned about this election, we still do not know an enormous amount about where Labour stand on tax, spending, growth strategy, immigration, legal migration, not just the small boats. And
well, no, soon, though. They're going to deliver that manifesto soon.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Keir Starmer... Remember, a lot of voters don't know who Keir Starmer is.
Absolutely,
I was running a focus group in Stoke-on-Trent about 2 months ago. 12 people around the table. 3 of them didn't know who Keir Starmer was. So we exaggerate how much people tune into politics. But he's going to have to define who he is and what he believes over the next 6 weeks. He could have a good campaign. He could have a terrible campaign. So I think there's going to be a lot actually hinging on what happens on the Labour side here too.
I was just going to say, I think this is the time now when the Labour policies and the manifesto will come out.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, we all know, is that Keir Starmer has absolutely zero charisma. And that is the problem. He is dull. He was, likened when he was younger to Mr. Darcy, and it's hard to see that, these days. But the thing is, he is a decent man. He is a good man. He's an intelligent man, but the thing is, he's also a very wily politician, which people don't give him credit for, because in the years since he's been voted in, it was not many years, he has seen off the left of the party.
Hang on a minute. He told us to put Jeremy Corbyn into number 10, and he told us to have a second referendum on Brexit. So I'm not sure how much
I marched for all 4 marches to have a second referendum on Brexit. So I'm not. So we can disagree on that one. But the point being, if you were somebody who wanted the Labour Party to succeed and realise that elections are only won from the centre ground, they're not won from the extremities, that the only way you can do it is from the inside of the tent, not from the outside of the tent. So he had to get in there and go along with whatever it was, and then stick the knife in, get rid of Corbyn, get rid of the anti-Semitic mob, and now he's got an electable Labour Party. And he's done that in a very short space of time.
But let me just get it right, what you've just said. So you just said that you are in favour of compulsory voting. So make people... so I am going to vote in this next election. Worry not, everyone. But previously, I absolutely didn't. Because I just wasn't engaged. I wasn't connected. I wasn't wandering around complaining about politics. So when you say, oh, you can't moan if you don't vote, a lot of people that don't vote, they're not wandering around moaning about politics. They're just cracking on with their life. And
they're moaning about aspects of their life, not about politics. But saying, I can't afford this or whatever, that's politics. It's without actually labelling politics.
But my point is, so on the one hand you would say, right, I'm going to make it compulsory, so I'm going to force all of those people to vote. And then on the other hand, you just turned around and said, when we did get a huge democratic mandate, one of the biggest turnouts of its time, and people did engage democratically with the Brexit referendum, you've just said then you went on 4 separate marches to try and overturn the results.
Yes, but the thing is, if you poll those people now who voted for Brexit, a huge percentage of them made the wrong decision, and they will tell you that.
I know, but if you are so passionate about people engaging democratically...
Yes.
Then how do you have the audacity to then take to the streets to try and undermine the democratic vote?
I wasn't undermining it. I'm saying, think again. Give us another vote. I wasn't saying throw it out. I'm saying give people another chance to vote. That is democratic. And by the way,
it's not democratic.
By the way, Scotland voted completely against Brexit, and yet Scotland has been dragged out.
If they voted to remain, would you have taken to the streets 4 times to try and have a second vote?
No, because I believed in Remain.
Exactly. So because you didn't like the outcome of the referendum, you went on multiple marches to try and change it.
No, because Brexit has been a disaster.
In your mind?
I think in most people's minds, Michelle.
I don't think Brexit's been a disaster.
It has been a complete disaster.
We've become a self-governing independent nation with control over our own laws. Now, our elites have...
Where are our trade deals with India? Where's our trade deal with America?
Deals are forthcoming.
But in the meantime, this country is going down the pan. There's no respect for this country anymore.
Sorry, can I just
respond? Go on.
First of all, the benchmark is the European Union. The European Union's doing so wonderful, right? It's got the same growth rate, same economic problems, divisions between North and South, divisions between East and West, populists going crazy, the biggest corruption scandal in the history of the European Union. We are doing, on balance, compared to our EU neighbours, we're doing just fine. What you meant to say was that the people who voted for Brexit didn't really understand what they were voting for.
I did not say that. I did not say that. They voted with their hearts and their minds, and they were perfectly valid.
They wanted to be able to affect the laws that affect their lives. They wanted those laws to be taken in their own country, not Brussels, and they wanted control over immigration. Now, it's not their fault that the Conservatives completely misinterpreted that to give us record mass immigration. That's on the Conservatives. The Brexit voters knew what they were voting for. They had a very clear reason to do so.
They wanted control of the borders.
No, they wanted lower immigration.
Lower immigration, if you like that. But that's not the only aspect of life in this country.
They wanted sovereignty.
They wanted, and what good has sovereignty given us? What's it done
so
for
we
us?
can control our own destiny.
Is it just... you say control our own destiny, but...
We can be a self-governing nation.
We're self-governing nation, but we need to have a proper government. The thing is it just because we wanted a blue passport and to say English, blah, blah, blah?
No, it's
the Scots voted against it.
because we wanted to be a free country.
The Scots voted against it. The Northern Ireland voted against it. And Wales... would have voted against it were it not for all the emigrant English who were there. I am not English. I am not English.
I guess that.
So, but I am British, and I'm certainly allowed to have my opinion.
Sure, but what I'm saying...
it's the English
asking
have
people
voted.
to vote again and again and again until they make the right decision is not democratic.
To give them time to think again.
Because they were too stupid the first time around.
No, you're putting words in my mouth, and I did not say that.
How much time do you need to make a decision?
When did you go on your first march? When did you first start calling for a second referendum?
Whenever the first march happened, I went on it.
But how soon after? So it was like we had the Brexit process, people got out of bed.
I can't remember.
But did you sit there and wake up one day and say, right, we've had X amount of years...
I didn't organise the march.
But you're an attendee and you believed that was the right decision.
Yes,
and you went
to allow people to think again.
But I know, but you think again until they've come up with a decision that you agree with.
No, absolutely not. I have accepted, obviously, the vote, because that's what happened.